everyone. How are you today?
Great.
Good. I'm supposed to say a couple things. So my name is Greg Hintz. It is now 2 o'clock. Wink, wink. And we're in room number 5. All right. Well, it's good to have you guys here. You're here to learn a little bit about Facebook, right?
Right.
And that's what we're going to talk about. And so I'm really hoping today I'm going to give you some information, and definitely you're going to learn some stuff from me. But I'd like to make this a conversation too, so it's totally open as we're going along. If you have a question, if I'm going too fast, if you're like, whoa, slow down, let's unpack this a little bit. I'm all about that because I think that, yes, information is going to come this way, but I believe in this subject specifically, there's information to come this way. In other words, you've done something, you've made some mistakes, you've had some great success. Let's hear that and talk about that together. Okay, so feel free to let your voice be heard. Before we talk about Facebook and the love-hate relationship that it is, I want to share just a little bit about me so you know me. My name is Greg Hintz, and here's my beautiful, wonderful family. I'd be nothing without each and every single one of them. My wife of 19 years this month. Her name's Tara. Yeah, she's a blessing. And our 4 children. I got 3 boys and a little girl. My oldest is 18. Then 13, then 8, and then after 3 bodyguards, it was time to have a daughter. And so our little princess was born, Juliana Quinn, 3.5 years ago. And she stole my heart, and I've been messed up ever since. So they're great. Family of 6 keeps me on my toes. I do lots of things, though. I go around and talk a little bit with this team right here, the John Maxwell team. If you've ever heard of John Maxwell, excellent resource on leadership. It just does so much stuff, not only in the business realm, but definitely for the church too. I planted a church with a group of friends called The Place. The Place Church is in Wickenburg, Arizona, so I get to enjoy this weather for 9 months. 9 months of heaven, 3 months of hell. It's a good trade-off. I gotta love Arizona. So it's a super cool, fun church in this rodeo community, about 7,000 people. This place called Wickenburg, fastest growing town in Arizona. Growed at a rate last year grew 3.2 or 3.7%. So it's really grown a lot. I also this group right here, they're here today, Leading from Your Strengths. It's a great resource for helping people learn their personality types and how to grow in communication, especially in a staff. I've written a few books. This first book I wrote was called The Best of Life Manifesto. It's about transforming your life from the inside out. And then I wrote this book right here, Porn Again, Breaking the Death Grip of Pornography. That was a lot of fun. Did a session earlier today with that. If you're interested, you say, hey, I came from Facebook, but that seems interesting. I actually got a couple copies of the book left over. Just let me know and I'll hook you up. All right, so that was a lot of fun to write. Co-wrote that with my buddy. But then I got this book here, Facebook Jesus, and that's what you're going to be learning a little bit about. Now, I wrote this book a couple years ago, so it's really, really cheap, $2.99. You can get the Kindle on there if you'd like that resource. It'll walk you through step by step, even more so than what we're going to talk about today. Because today we're going to be digging deep into Facebook. And I want to start with a couple questions. And I'm going to let you guys answer. And the first question is this. What do you want to get from today's time together? Like, what made you sign up, walk through the doors, invest this amount of time in this class on Facebook? Yes?
I want to see how you grew 200 people through Facebook and the strategy and the tactic, the concrete things that you did.
All right. So a little interest on how we grew the church using Facebook. Love it. What else?
How to involve and engage the young generation because of that tool of Facebook.
Awesome. Good. So engaging a certain generation. Awesome. What else?
What should we put on Facebook and what should we advertise?
Good. What should we put?
Church?
Yeah. Awesome. We're going to talk about that. Good. What else? Yes.
How to get them to react or engage in your post.
Getting engagement. Love it. That's going to be important. Hello. How are you doing? Cute baby. Yeah. He's got his own Facebook account already? She's like, no, he's on Instagram. What were you going to say?
Well, in one of the sessions we went, they said you have to know your platform and know your audience.
So I was wondering how we were gonna be able to define that and know that.
All right, I'm going to talk. I'm going to start before I teach anything. I'm going to talk just for a quick minute about that. Yeah.
Maybe that was what the first gentleman mentioned, that moving from the social media relationship to a face-to-face relationship.
All right. Good. Bringing people in through social media. Well, let me ask you this next question. How are you currently using Facebook? Like personally, church-wise, ministry-wise? Yes.
Just to see what people are doing.
All right, a lurker. Don't worry, we all do it, right? We all do it. So
I call it a stalker.
I was being nice. We just met, so yeah.
We're doing count up to Easter, so daily activity with a picture of a kid, and count up to Easter with, Micah, and then something that they can do. So to try to get that interaction, and then they also handed out those with stickers for the kids to take home, so it's like Facebook and,
And you can volunteer.
Oh, we do volunteer of the week.
Oh, nice.
So we have like a
So-
daily schedule.
So you're scheduling stuff. Good. I'm so glad to hear that. And already talking about Easter, which a lot of times we wait till last minute. You've already begun that conversation. I saw a hand
But
over.
it is easy to schedule because I'm old and I've not done it, and once I learned, I was like, it was so freeing. So-
And you can do it right on Facebook now. Schedule.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And we do, at our church, we do a lot of like registering online, like if we do our trunk or treat, or we do our Easter egg hunt, or whatever we're doing, the people are registering. The link's on the Facebook, but they're registering right online through that.
So
And that's really helped us build.
are you using like a third party to register? Like how are they
Well,
registering?
I don't know, our DCs do, I just know that our church uses that to do it. I'm not
So
personally.
to advertise events?
Yes.
To register for events? Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. Cool. Who else? No one? Okay, that's fine. That's great. And we're going to be able to talk more. It's someone asked about how to figure out where to go. Your biggest, now this is going to be surprising when I say it, but 55 and up is Facebook.
Oh, yeah, we love it.
You wouldn't think that. Oh, and then for them young whippersnappers, no, they're on Snapchat. And we're not even going to talk about Snapchat today, but because it's just weird. But Facebook is going to be that older generation, which is great, right? Which is great. You want to bring those folks in. But if you're looking for engagement for the younger generation, then Instagram is the way you should really go. Now, here's the beautiful thing. Instagram and Facebook, they can play together, right? I mean, so you don't want to
Because they're in the
forsake
same
one for the
company.
other. I'm just letting you know your biggest bang for the buck, if you're looking for that adult generation, is going to be Facebook, because that's where they're hanging out. Because of why? Because of the grandkids. Right? I want to see pictures of the grandkids, and I want to get on there and see stuff. So they're already used to hanging out in that realm, and so that's who we're going to really reach a lot of. Now you're going to reach other people too, 20s, 30s, 40s, all the way up. But your biggest engagement, whenever we put an ad up, Facebook will tell you exactly who's checking out your stuff and who's clicking it. I guarantee you where I'm at, it's 60 and up. Engagement, all the time. Click, click, click. They're checking stuff out because they're on there. So let's start with talking about that specific thing. Let's talk about engagement. Someone asked, why should I have Facebook? How should it be utilized inside of church? Now, does anyone here have a church page on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay, a lot of people. Ministry page, like a ministry specific page? Yeah? Okay, good. Personal page. Okay, a lot of people have personal, because see, there is a difference between the personal page and the fan page. And that's important that you understand the difference, because it's going to dictate what you're putting out on there. You want to put different stuff on your personal profile than you're going to put on a fan page. A fan page is going to have this thing right here.
Business page.
That's like a business page, exactly right. Fan page, business page, if it has the thumb, that's what you're looking at for your ministry or for your church, right? You want that to happen. Personal profile is yourself, like you, where you're at. That's the add friend button, right? If you got to add a friend, that's going to be your personal profile, where you're at. Now, when I first started many, many years ago, I made, and maybe they didn't even really have a lot of fan pages back in the day, but I actually made a personal profile for the church, and that was way bad. And what happened was I had built up so much engagement that I had to start again from scratch. So if you haven't done this yet, make sure you get it right from the beginning. All right, don't make that mistake. You've made that mistake too? Yeah, it's a pain, isn't it? Yeah, it's a pain to have to go back and redo it. So you want to make sure that you do it. So the first key is to set it up. And it's very important whenever you set it up, even if it's a ministry, that you reserve your name. You think about, what do you want this page to be? What do you want to call it? And I'd encourage you to get on the page. Maybe if there's a page that already exists, look at it. Is it easy to find? Or do you just know where it is because you're the one that created it? And then when you get on there, I want you to provide the basics. The more information you have on there, the better off you're going to be. And include this information like church name, address, phone number, email, directions to your campus. Right now, Facebook will link directly with maps. You want that. You want your location right on there. Let me ask you this. When you hop on that page, is there a link to your website? You want them to, many of them are going to start their journey on Facebook, but they're going to take that trip to your website via Facebook. But if they get on your page and there's no link to your website, they're never going to get there. Very rarely, people are visiting your Facebook page before they darken the doors of your church. They're checking it out. That's the first place that they're going to go. They're going to go in there and they're going to look around and they're going to see, is this a place that I want to even go to? And so is all the information on there? Are your services on there? Are your activities on there? Try to visit your Facebook page like you're a first-time visitor or guest and ask yourself, would I want to go to this church? Does this look like a place I'd want to be? And if you look and say no, try to have just an honest opinion of it, then don't do it. The next question you got to do, the next thing you got to figure out is who's going to be in charge of Facebook. Now, I think we need to start from the place of saying the person you want in charge of Facebook is someone who likes Facebook, right? Not just Joe Schmo on staff who doesn't have enough responsibility, right? The person who doesn't even have a Facebook account, but he doesn't have enough things to do, so you give him the Facebook responsibilities. Find someone who likes Facebook and has a lot of friends on Facebook, that they're engaging on Facebook. If you get on this person's Facebook page and they haven't engaged since April of 2016, that's not the right person for you. You want someone who's on there all the time. We just did this with Instagram at my church. I'm not an Instagram guy, all right? I'm just not. It's just not my thing. It's not bad. It's just not my thing. But there's a girl in our church that's 21 years old. She has 9,000 friends on Instagram. Guess who's our Instagram person now? This girl right here. And that was a simple thing, and she loves it. I asked her, she's here at the conference. I said, how many friends have we? I think we had like 50 to start. She's like, oh, I got us like 389. Keep up the good work. Keep going. All right. And she hasn't even been over it that long, but she's like having free Instagram giveaways and all kinds of stuff that is attracting people to the site. So you have to find someone, and you have to release some control and let them post. Now, that's hard for some of you, but you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to trust them to do it. Now, you keep a close eye on it, and you want to give them some parameters of what you want them to post. You don't want them posting things that aren't in line with what you want to go out, but you're going to have to trust them, and then you make them an administrator of your page, okay? So the next question to ask yourself, and you're going to get all kinds of questions to ask yourself today, is who is the administrator of your church's page or your ministry's page? If you tell me only yourself, I'm going to say you're missing the boat. You need to have at least 3, 4, 5 people, because you want posts to go on a fairly regular basis. If you only have one person doing it, that's not enough. And you want people to speak from different veins. Maybe you let an administrator be your, if you're at a school and you got a school administrator, you make them an administrator, they can post on there, and you let them know, hey, I want 3 posts a week. I want you to talk about what's going on in the school. Or maybe you have your men's ministry person, hey, I want one post a week on men's ministry. I'm gonna make you an admin on our Facebook page. Go ahead and do it. Do you see what I mean? Yes.
Is there too many posts? Like, let's per day, what would be the maximum you want on there?
I think we're gonna talk a little bit about that, but I don't think you're gonna get too many posts. Because different people are gonna like different things. You know what I mean?
So I hate Facebook,
Mhm.
so I pay her to do it.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
But
I would say
like-
three to
if
five.
I go on there, yeah, I'm not gonna sort through all that crap, I don't care.
Yeah,
Right.
and you won't even see it. So the algorithms inside of Facebook are going to kind of give you who you're engaging with. That's what you're going to see in your timeline. Like I have 2,000 friends and I probably see 30 because of the algorithm that they have worked out. So you're not going to see something you don't want, and no one's probably going to be posting every 5 minutes. But the more things that are out there, the more engagement you're going to get. Because what's going to bust to the top is what people are paying attention to. Like what button, who's clicking the like button, that's going to get seen more than something that's just dead. That's just going to kind of disappear into the horizon. Make sense? Awesome. Yes?
So do we need to be concerned about, because some of the people I have as admins right now have a very different voice on Facebook than I do. Is that confusing to our congregation, or should that message come, hey, this is Pastor so-and-so coming to you today with this message? I mean, should we say that's who that's coming from?
If it was that different, I would.
It's different.
All right. Yeah. Well, you may want to have, like, what is it? A certain area? Like, are they over like youth ministry or?
Well, I think that's probably part of what I need to.
Okay. Well, when I would do that, I would like start it with like youth highlight, : especially if it's that different. And I would guard that though, because your church has a brand, and the way you said that different, I may not make that different be an administrator. Does that make sense? Because you got to guard the brand of your church. And so you could have highlights like in a newsletter of quite a different voice, but maybe not an admin on the Facebook page. A little different's good. A lot different, not so much. All right, send them to Instagram. All right, yes.
Well, we have our church, we have a school page, and then we have a youth ministry page. They do their own thing, so, but it's still, it's still Emmanuel Lutheran, but I don't know. We debated back and forth about that too. Like, do we want one thing with everybody's voice? But, like the school families, we have different things that they need, and then the youth ministry things, they have a different. So there's
Yeah.
kind of that's that question, how much do we, is it
So
too
you
many?
mean separate pages, not groups within the main,
Correct, separate pages.
three separate Facebook pages?
The school and church, I think, is just a natural different thing. Your youth ministry and your church, if your goal is for your youth ministry to draw families into your church, then I would put them together. If your goal is for your youth ministry to be a completely separate ministry that's outreach oriented and you're not trying to tie them back in, then I would keep it separate. So you'd have to, and a lot of this is coming back to the purpose and the reason of why we're doing what we're doing. So I would say if you're trying to use your youth ministry to reach in, you need to keep those two together and let the youth do a highlight like every other day or once a day or once a week, however you want to do that. But if it's just outreach based, where you're just trying to reach out and build that youth ministry and you're not concerned about your church growing from that, then I would have it be separate. Does that make sense? That was a good question. Make sense? Awesome.
Our church is, they want to start to have a vacation Bible school page for the volunteers.
Okay.
So today we were discussing creating a group underneath the
Yeah.
church thing. And the group would be a closed group just for the volunteers,
Perfect.
VBS volunteers.
Perfect.
So that's how we were talking.
And groups is something different. We're going to talk about that, but that's different than a page. And your youth ministry, maybe you could do that too and make it an open group and not a closed group. And there's even a secret group. Oh, secret, right? And so we'll talk about that in just a second. The other one is to start posting. Now here's an answer to your question. Minimum 1, optimal 4. Okay? Minimum 1. And here's some ideas. Here's some just ideas. Maybe some status updates. New groups that are starting with a photo of the resource being studies. What the heck? or the people leading it. So if you guys have home groups, community groups, life groups, highlighting those groups. Maybe a scripture quote from the most recent sermon. Okay, that'd be nice. A link to a recent sermon video or audio download. Maybe the upcoming message title and scripture passage. Maybe the announcement of a new message series that's starting, or a new highlight at the church, or a new highlight at the ministry. Something like that. Now here's something, if you're like, hey, we're just starting, it's kind of small, this seems like a lot for me to do. There's a outreach.com is a website, and they started recently. They'll post for you on Facebook once a day. And it's like $20 a month or $25 a month. Pretty cheap in the whole scheme of things. And they'll put up Bible verses, scripture things. They're doing an Easter thing for us right now. And so the way we do it is that's one vein, one voice, right? One voice because they have their thing. And then I got people from our church that post too. Yes?
Do they have Spanish?
I think that they do, and you can choose in there what areas you want them to do. There's like 5 or 6 different categories, and I would imagine they have Spanish signs and stuff. I would think that they do have Spanish.
Can't you select Spanish as a language then?
I think that you can for outreach.com because they do Spanish signs, that would happen. So that's status updates. That's one category, okay? That's one thing. Another area would be photos and videos. People love photos and videos. The more photos and videos you have, the better off you're going to be. Baptisms, parent-child dedications, video testimonies, people serving, teaching, and helping in the church or the community. Photo albums. That's important. Don't just upload all your pictures. Start an album on your page of Vacation Bible School 2017 and put all of the pictures in there. When someone visits your page, they're like, wonder what they do for kids. They're going to open that album and they're going to look at that, okay? Retreats, camps, mission trips, video clips from your message if you guys do that. Maybe a skit, a worship element, or something funny from a retreat that happened. People love humor, okay? So if you do anything like that, I mean, obviously this church here embraces humor. Pastor Jeff is funny. All right? And people like that. I walk in and there's cows on the thing. And it's funny, I'm reading, I'm like, what the heck does that say? And it's like a joke. It's like a cheesy cow joke. But I laughed and I smiled and I thought, isn't that cool that even just walking in, like I have a smile before I even walk through the door. Like that's a good thing. Think about your page. And if you're really utilizing bringing humor, sometimes it's just like a little funny thing to make someone smile. It goes a long way. Don't be too serious. Sometimes we think about our Facebook page and I gotta be serious and this and that. No, you don't. Okay, relax. It's okay. Put up a cute kitten photo and a nice Bible verse or something. I don't know. People like stuff like that, all right? And what you're gonna do, just shoot out there like a shotgun. Put a bunch of stuff and see what sticks. What are people liking? What are people sharing? You know, and what's getting out there? Try some different things. Is there anything that you found success on your Facebook page that I didn't talk about?
Live videos.
Live videos. I'm going to go to live videos today, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's the future. We are living in the future today with live videos.
We have a school, and our parents love when we live stream on Facebook.
Yeah.
Anything that we're doing.
Stressing me out.
Our music leader really wants the set list or songs that we're going to be doing this Sunday from like YouTube, and I have like a love-hate relationship with that because it's like, here's what Hillsong is doing, as opposed to here's what we as a church are doing.
Yeah.
I don't know, what's your feelings on that?
Yeah, because you're definitely, if you're putting a song up there, it's going to be professionally mastered. And if you're not at that level, when people come, there may be a mild level of disappointment. You know, if that's the expectation that you're making. So I think it's a worthy conversation to have, you know, with your worship leader about why do they want that out. Because they may just want it so it's familiar, so when people come, they can sing it. And so maybe you do a video of your worship team doing that song and then posting that. That's an idea. You can do that fairly easy. I'm going to teach you how to do a real easy video in a little bit. But that way, that expectation's there. When they come, they know the words, and they're not going to be let down. Okay?
That works.
Awesome. Yes?
You may get to this later, so tell me, but understanding that you have lots of different administrators, how much time should this take, right? I mean, how many hours a week should a person be spending with social media?
It can consume you, and that's why you want someone who's already hanging out there. Like, literally, I'm sitting in this emotionally charged time just a minute ago, and I put out my phone, which I know they said not to, but I did it anyways. And, I hopped on Facebook, and for me personally, I was really touched by one of the things that was said. And so if you look, it says on my page, my hope isn't in Jesus, my hope is Jesus. Well, that took like 30 seconds, right? So that's me living life with social media because it's natural for me to put that up. So if it's not natural, it's going to take someone a lot of time. And actually, it's going to probably be annoying for them. They're not going to enjoy it. For me, I enjoy it.
It is hard to get away from it, though. That's the, like if I'm here, I'm not at, and then I'm watching, checking, seeing what's going on and
It's
what my
addicting.
posts are. It kind of is.
Yeah,
It can be.
they're going to open up rehabs one day just for social media. I mean, I'm totally convinced that that's going to happen. So you got to be able to separate those two things. But, and also, I think the other answer to your question is just start somewhere. If you do 0 posts, start with 1. If you do 7 posts a week, do 8. Don't stress yourself out with it. Yes?
One that is very popular, we did an outreach.com, we were watching a